Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spiderslayer. And welcome to Countdown episode 59, the free comic book day edition. That's right, fans. It's never been done before. That's right. Comic Book Corner 2.0 doing two countdowns within 1 week. That's insane. But yes, I promised you earlier in the comic week that I would do it. And yes, sir or ma'am, I did deliver. So, with that being said, we're going to be counting down the 10 books that I received from Free Comic Book Day, from the worst all the way to the best. Now, a way I graded some of these was based off of content, what they had to offer for their readers, and if it engages you on possibly getting a future issue from this particular company. So with that being said, let's jump in to the Free Comic Book Day Countdown Edition. Starting with number 10. And number 10 is from Valiant, and this was the Armor Hunters. Yeah. So this is supposedly this big event here for Valiant. And I think what they tried to do is they tried to, push so much content on there going, hey, we're having this. Hey, we're having that. And we're going to have this. And we're going to have that. That you don't get enough content in here to really make you excited about anything. I really wanted to get more of the Armor Hunters to see what that was about. But right when you get this book, it's maybe, your normal standard size comic book, and it has a table of contents in it. So right away, you're sitting there going, okay, there's not going to be that much in here. So right away, it starts you off with the Armor Hunters preview. Cool artwork. You're sitting there going, oh, this looks pretty cool. So you read it, and you get maybe 4 pages of a story, and there's hardly any dialogue in it. And then you get this big creature, for the cover that says Armor Hunters issue number 1. So you don't really get anything out of the story. You get some artwork, some little dialogue, and that's it. And you're like, okay, whatever. So that didn't make me really excited for it. It wastes 2 pages on a checklist in case you want the checklist, which I was like, okay. And then it says, as an interview with Vendetti on there, and you're sitting there going, okay, well, I would love to see more preview for this story than what Vendetti has to offer here, what his little Q&A is. And then you have a Exo Man of War issue 24 preview, which, okay, like really, Exo Man of War is a pretty successful series for Valiant. So why not put in more Armor Hunters in there? That's what I could have thought. And then it has to do with diplomacy. So you're like, okay, cool. So there's your little sneak preview, and it shows you, a couple pages of that, and then that ends. And then you get this page spread here, and you're kind of like, okay. And then then you get to see this other creature here, and I'm looking through it, and then it has another preview of the new sneak preview of Ray, which I thought for a free comic book day wasn't really that great because the issue now is on sale. And I thought, okay, you've been promoting this for a long time. Again, why not promote something else or do more Armor Hunter stuff? I would have loved to see that, and that was kind of a disappointment here. They waste a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of pages on more talking and things like that. So I didn't like this. I mean, I get that it's free and you shouldn't complain, but if I'm going to rate it, I'm going to rate it a 1.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't do me anything, didn't get me excited for anything, wasn't happy with what they presented here to try to get readers on board to their product. All right, so next was number 9, and number 9 was Rocket Raccoon. This is obviously known as issue number 1. Great cover here. Scotty Young does the cover. You gotta love the covers that's presented to you here. However, the story is, if this is what Rocket Raccoon is going to be about in the future of when he gets his own series, I'm not going to be reading this. It just has to do with him rescuing this princess, and there's some humor here, but I don't like the way he's drawn. This is just not the Rocket Raccoon that I know. He's less violent. You know, he does have a few guns in here, but he was supposed to rescue this princess, and he's fighting these rabbit race, and it was just not entertaining for me whatsoever. Groot made appearance in here, but that's the way he looks, and I'm just going, oh my god, this was painful to read, and um, I just don't hope that the solo series is like this, because this is going to be a definite disappointment in my eyes, because it's just not, for me, it just doesn't see right Rocket's personality in here. Feels really out of character. I didn't like the artwork, and then this has a backup story of based off of the Ultimate Spider-Man. Um, I think it's comic itself. And you know, this wasn't really entertaining either. It had like these little aliens in here that, you know, White Tiger and Nova were fighting, and they were outnumbered, and then they had to stop this ray gun from being used. So this is what this one presented here, and it threw a lot of elements with the TV show as well. But again, it was weak too. It was like just as much as this one. The only reason why I like this better was because it got you a feel, really, of if Rocket Raccoon is going to be this type of comic. It's either going to make you buy it, or it's going to make you, you know, put it down and say, I'm not going to buy it. So after, you know, reading this, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 stars. All right, so going on, we're going to go on to number 8. Number 8 was Rise of the Magi. Now, this was pretty good in a way, because if you're an independent reader, you're going to like maybe this. If you like Mark Silvestri, who's the writer of this, you're going to like this. It has all kinds of great concept art at the end of the issue. It really gets you a feel of, you know, who the main character is in the book. You know, this whole thing is focused around this orb, which presents magic. However, for me, it just not my style of comics, so I'm probably not going to read it. But it's about this small town boy that, you know, is in his history of fixing rugs in his family, and his brother is a warrior, and he kind of wants to be like his brother, and he fantasizes because he reads comic books, which I thought was a nice element in here. And you know, he goes to a friend, and friend casts his spell to go to where his brother's army at, where he does this duty, and he makes himself invisible. And then what happens is he comes across and he sees this crazy secret that's happening. He finds this particular orb, and everything around this particular orb is dying. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the brief issue that they show you, is all these crazy ass creatures. And then it says to be continued in the Rise of the Magi, issue number 1. So, and then again, it gives you all the stuff that Silvestri has written, and it gives you like art that he's done, and again, all the concept art. So this book does a great job of promoting the product that is coming out, which I thought, you know, my hat's off to them for doing that, in the type of environment that's, you know, in this world, and things of that nature. So I liked what they were trying to do here. However, this won't be a comic that I'll pick up on my own, just because it's just not my style. But some people might like this and give this an actual try. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. All right, so moving forward, we're going to go on to number 7, and number 7 was Teen Titans Go, issue number 1. I thought this was fun. You know why? Because even though I don't watch the cartoon on a regular basis, I do watch it with my son. I DVR it, and when I do get a chance, we watch it together. And this comic was just like the TV show. It's comical, it's hysterical, and there's no candy coating about it. It's just, we're going to present to you 2 stories just like the TV show does. And that's what we're going to have here for our readers, and they're going to enjoy a tale without trying to candy coat anything. And I like that. The book opens up with, you know, Cyborg, and he's sitting there looking to eat his sandwich, and there's this whole story about him missing his sandwich, and the Titans are on this mission to find his his sandwich. And it's funny, it's comical. It's if you've watched the TV show, you're going to get what happens in with the humor here. Um, we found out that it's Raven's leftovers that winds up eating her sandwich. It's this crazy possessed pizza. And I thought the artwork is done pretty much similar to the cartoon, which I could appreciate. And the humor is very, very much the same way as well. And then you get another story called Par of the Course. And I like this story much better because it had to do with Robin and Beast Boy doing this bet about who will win in their mini golf tournament that they were having. And if Beast Boy wins, he gets to have Robin's cape. And if Robin wins, he gets to take all his electronics away for a month, which I thought was hysterical. But in the end, they were fighting so much that Starfire interferes, and she's just like, if I win, she's just like, I get to call this whole bet off. So it's funny because you get to see what happens in the end, and again, it throws in the Riddler in here because it's his golf course, and it's called Crisis in 18 Holes, and eventually he bans the Titans away because they destroy the whole golf course. So in reading this, I thought that, again, they did a great job of presenting a great story. And if you want to buy something for your kids, they give you enough here to say, you know what, this is good for my kids. It's not really violent. It's a fun read. It's got some good humor for the kids to laugh at. I'm going to go out and buy the next issue. And that's what I liked about this one. And so I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, so going forward now, we're going to go on to, I think we're at number 6. Let me just make sure. Yep, number 6. And number 6 was a book that kind of surprised me. And I picked this up because by the ninth free comic, I'm like, what am I going to pick up now? But the cover looked interesting here. And this is called Epic. This is Epic issue number 0. They call it the pilot issue. Done by Comics Tribe. And this was a nice job, again, at promoting the product here. Getting a reader interested in this book to hopefully you buy issue number 1. And this is basically an origin tale of Epic, who is this young teenage superhero, fighting all these fun, these bad guys that, of course, is a different universe that you're not familiar with. But the book does a great job at introducing you all these villains right off the bat in his world. And there's the guy called Thunder God and Mega Duck and Shock and Awe. This guy's got like a puppy. There's this T-Kong, and there's a main villain here. Her name is Sinstress. And then there's Daddy Longlegs, which is the spider guy. And in the opening pages of the issue, you get to see Epic, who actually sits there and fights all these guys. And then it goes back, and it flashes back to about, I think, 9 months ago. And it gives you the origin tale of how Epic is being bullied, and reminded me of a Peter Parker style type of book. And, he has friends that are technological intern, and you get to see the origin tale of how he became the superhero that he is. Now, it's your typical origin tale, but the little thing that they throw in this book, in this issue, is that when you see him develop these powers and him learning his powers and what he can and can't do, he finds out that there's a weakness in his powers. And anytime he's around women, Epic winds up losing his powers. So every time he's around a pretty woman, he can't do anything with his powers. He's just lost without them. So I thought the issue was really, really good. The artwork was pretty solid here. It had nice one-page spreads. And then by the time you get to the end of the issue, again, you find out what his weakness is. Again, even when he's around a magazine with a woman in it, he has no powers. And then by the time you get to the end of the issue, you get this QR code, and you scan it, and you'll get, I think it was 100 plus pages of free Comics Tribe comics. So I think Comics Tribe did a nice job here of presenting a good product for its readers and to hopefully get people to read issue number 1. I thought this was an entertaining issue, and I don't know if I'll be getting issue 1 because it's just I get so much stuff already. But if I can, I might get it. If I get it digitally, I'm going to read it digitally because I want to see what happens here. So this was Comics Tribe issue number 0. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, so next we're going on to our top 5. And our top 5 free comic book day comic was Mega Man X and Sonic the Hedgehog. That's right. These guys, Archie Comics, do a great job. Every year they always come out with a issue that has to do with Sonic and Mega Man. This time around, it's no different. They're not throwing any other comics at you. They're just throwing you the product of what's presented in front of you. Enjoy the read. Here's your free comic. I'm not trying to sell you shit, okay? This one, the first one had to do with X Factor, or Mega Man X now. And basically this is like Mega Man but evolved 30 years later. And it has to do with the scientist who's found them and who says, you know what, I think Mega Man X is a good guy. And he tried, what was it, replicating. He calls them Reploids, Mega Man. And he creates all these Reploids and makes them into a society and helps the Earth or whatnot. And basically what it is that you get to learn, if you guys ever played Mega Man X on like original Super Nintendo, you get to learn the whole history and the back history of the Mavericks and the Hunters and the Reploids and Mega Man, and that's what this story really did. It had nice artwork, great dialogue here, lots of story for the 7 pages that was presented to you here, and then you find out that this story does continue in Mega Man issue number 37. Now, when you flip the book over, okay, you get your Sonic the Hedgehog book. What happens is it's called Comic Origins, and you get to learn a little bit about Sally, who's this princess, and she leads this team called the Freedom Fighters here, and you get to see all your characters here, and you get to see how Sonic works with her and all that, and there's lots of action, and again, great dialogue here, great artwork. They're not taking anything away just because it is a free comic book day issue. And it gets you interested in what's happening with the Freedom Fighters and Sonic the Hedgehog. And of course, it gives you a little backstory and all that stuff. So again, I appreciated what was presented here. And as a reader, you can appreciate it. They didn't water it down or give you only 2 pages of something where it's like, oh, here, buy this, So, all right. So that was number 5. That got 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next, which was number 4, and number 4 was Grim Fairy Tales, issue number 0, Age of Darkness tie-in. My problem with this was it was just too short. It's about 6 pages, and you're kind of like, come on, can we get a little bit more of this? But it gives you a little story of what the Blood Knights are, who Salem Mathers is, and it basically is telling you that the annual for Grim Fairy Tales is upon us, and this story is going to continue, and this story does tie into this. In this issue, you wind up seeing this particular knight in here. He goes to another knight, and I guess he's a leader, and he's being approached saying that the Dark Queen is coming and that the Blood Knight is approaching. And it's funny because they got all these soldiers here, and what happens is a guy tells him to move out of the way. This dude right here, he's just like, "Hear me, enemies of the Queen. You stand in the way of her desires. You have already been warned. The penalty for your transgression is death. You may beg for mercy." And then the Blood Knight comes out and he goes, "But you will," but then he goes, the Blood Knight's coming out and he goes, "But you will not receive it." And this creature is like insane. He's got like lava coming out of his hands, and he's got this hood and everything. So it's got pretty good artwork in here, but it's like a flick to him. It's like he blows them away. It's just, there's no contest against mortal men. He destroys all the people. He has this crazy fire that totally destroys everything, and you're just like, holy shit. And you get to see Sayla Mathers, who actually, is learning more about the Blood Knights and what they represent, and Shang, who is, she's his mentor, and you get to see that the Dark Queen is involved behind everything and how she's going to raise more of these Blood Knights, and it looks like they're pretty much unstoppable. And then what happens is it gives you like this one-page spread about the Dark Queen, and then we get another little thing about Robin Hood, The Age of Darkness one-shot, which is another one-page thing, which, again, I don't like this. I don't like this part of it. Like, I don't like the one page. I don't need this one page. Give me 3 more pages of this preview, because this is what we're focusing on. But the main story, again, is to be continued in Grimm Fairy Tales issue 2014. And I liked it. I thought it was a good main story that's going to be presented here. If you guys read Grimm Fairy Tales, I think you'll enjoy it. If you haven't read Grimm Fairy Tales, this will be a good jumping on point because the whole universe is changing. So, again, guys, after reading this one, I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars as well. All right, so moving forward, we're going on to our top three. Number 3, free comic book day of the year, and that was Transformers versus G.I. Joe, issue number 0. This book, don't let the artwork fool you here. The artwork may not be suitable for a lot of people, and in certain elements, I didn't like this artwork here, but in other elements, I kind of did. It was really original, really different, and it's funny because right in the beginning of this story, you get to see like Starscream chasing after Bumblebee, which was neat, and it seems to take place before all our original stories. That's what happens in this issue. You get to see them crash to Earth, which was these guys here, and then you get to see our Joes in the issue too, and it focuses really around Snake Eyes, and this is before Snake Eyes lost his hearing, and before before he couldn't see, and before he couldn't talk. So really interesting stuff here. This book is very busy, so take some time to look at it if you have received it. It shows you like these these Cobra headquarters, and if you look at it, there's lots of detail. You get to see like all these little brief descriptions of Snake Eyes and Duke and Scarlet here, so you get to see all these cool little descriptions, which I really liked about it. Had all these fun elements, and all these classic heroes that you've known to love over the years from Transformers and G.I. Joe. And during the G.I. Joe battle, you get like, there's Bumblebee, they're just right there off in the background. Again, you get to see how Major Blood like lost his eye, because if you guys know who Major Blood is, it's like he has an eye patch, but you see that he lost his eye here. So it has all these cool elements from the G.I. Joe Transformers universe. You get to see Cobra Commander doing battle here against Snake Eyes while they're in this jet, and you get to see how Snake Eyes actually lost his sight, which was crazy. And I'll show you the page in case you didn't get it right here. And it's just like, oh man, he goes to stab Cobra Commander and he shoots him in the face, and it was just like, wow, that is nuts. And they never knew what happened to Cobra Commander, and you see that Snake Eyes is in the hospital bed, and yeah, so it's really wild stuff. And by the time you get to the end of the issue, we get to see, Megatron meets back up with Starscream, has like Bumblebee's information and things like that, and then it gives you like a little battlefield report of what happened to everybody. I thought this book was great. I thought it had so many elements in there from the universe. I thought for them to promote an issue or a series that is due out very soon, I think they did a great job. They even did what the story is about in the background, about the author and what his thoughts were. about each page breakdown. So they're really trying to get you on board with this particular series. And you know what? If I don't get a hard copy of it, I'm definitely going to read it digitally, because this definitely piqued my interest here and what happens with Snake Eyes, the Transformers, and you know, when these two elements cross over, it's always a fun read. So that's why I like this so much. And I gave this one a 4 out of 5. That was a surprise, and I was on the fence about picking that one up. All right, so number 2 free comic book day of the year is Guardians of the Galaxy. This one was good because I thought, if you have not read Guardians of the Galaxy at this point in time, I felt that this was a good jumping on point for the series, especially since the movie is coming out too. And then if you read the last Guardians of the Galaxy issue, um, you're seeing that Venom is in the issue, the anniversary issue. And you're like, well, how the fuck did freaking Venom get on there? And you read it, and you see that there's this whole conversation with Tony Stark and how he wants Venom to be part of the team. He wants the U.S. to represent the Guardians of the Galaxy because we should have a U.S. representative there, and things of that nature. And the book does a great job of describing, again, who the Guardians are. They go through Peter Quill, and they go through Drax. So they go through each individual character. They go through Rocket, and they go through Gamora, and of course how she's the daughter of Thanos, and they go through Groot, how he talks, which I thought was comical, where all he says is Groot, but it's different expressions, and I really like that element. And then at the end, you get to see them. They make their appearance meeting Eddie Brock for the first time in the book, and you get to see Groot. He's like talking to a tree in the issue. He's like, "I am Groot," introducing himself. And then Tony Stark at the end of the issue winds up giving Peter a particular device that if there's a symbiote problem, I guess he's got to use this device, which he doesn't feel that there is, but just in case. So it kind of leaves you with that cliffhanger there. And then it says to be continued in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I like that element of the story. The artwork, again, is not my favorite artwork. It's not horrible, though. Again, it's the same artist that did, what was it? What is it called? X-Men and Wolverine and the X-Men. Same artist that did that particular issue. And then you get this little brief story about Thanos, the Infinity Revelation, which is a graphic novel. So if you're into all that, then you can pick that up. This was the one reason why I didn't like that part, was why this didn't get number 1. And then I'm sitting there going, okay, who cares about the Thanos thing? And then at the end, I was sitting there going, oh my God, there's a Spider-Man tale in here, and I didn't think it was going to be in this one. And then this one goes into Spideyverse, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, man, Spideyverse. So it gives you a story about this particular Spider-Man that was in here, and he's in this Globe Theater, this particular Peter, and he's performing with Mary Jane from this time period, and he's taking on all these people. For 10 shillings or whatever, whoever can beat Spider-Man, they get 10 shillings. And then what happens is you get this mysterious creature on here, and his name was, oh man, what the hell is the dude's name? I can't remember his name, and it's driving me crazy right now. Okay, well, anyway, Spider-Man is going to take on this guy right here, and it's making his spider sense tingle, and they have some words with each other, and we find out that he says he's very hungry, and he's always hungry. And so right away, Spider-Man's all cocky. He takes him on. He goes and he punches him in the face, and it breaks his freaking hand. I mean, because he's solid like a rock. And what happens is the dude just sits there, and he punches him right in the face, and he flies like boom, boom through pillars and all kinds of shit like that. And then the next thing you see is that Spider-Man is like, I can't die this way. And then this Mary Jane version, she's like, beloved, And right away he sits there and boom, puts a freaking goddamn pillar through his back and he dies. And then what happens is he sucks his soul out of his body, and you're just like, holy shit, dude, you know? And then he goes, the great spirit that dwells within you, all is my power, potential, everything you could wear, we could have been, is so now mine. And it's like, holy crap. And then the one thing that he says is, it goes, it's been foretold all of your threads in the web shall be severed. And soon, very soon, all the spiders shall die. So this is probably one of the things that Madam Web was like freaking out about when she went into this coma way back when, before the whole Superior Spider-Man thing took place. And it says every Spider-Man, every Spider-Verse, and it has everybody there. So you're just like, oh, dude, that's cool. So that's what really got my attention in this issue, more than the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. This really did. I really enjoyed this. So this was very, very good. And I enjoyed the little preview that was here. So this got me excited for Spideyverse. So I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So number 1, free comic book day of 2014 was the New 52 Futures End issue number 0. This was treated like a issue number 1. This introduced you to what you're going to be coming to with Futures End, what you're going to be involved in, who the major players are, what has happened to the universe. I thought this was very well done, and I was surprised by the end of it, because it makes me now want to read, because I was on the fence, about this series altogether. This thing opens up in almost like an Age of Ultron type of setting, or Terminator setting, which was very interesting. Everything is 35 years in the future. There's this thing called Brother's Eye, and it's like this bug version virus or something that takes over everybody. You get to see Flash, Captain Cold. They're all trying to stop these specific creatures. But right from the get-go, you get to see what this virus is about. I mean, it takes over everybody. It's taken over all our major heroes, like Wonder Woman here. She's like this crazy-ass tarantula cyborg spider that's just like, it's crazy. They start taking over everybody. Flash got this crazy-ass old man beard, and he loses it. He tries to destroy Wonder Woman, but there's nothing here that can stop this virus. This virus seems like it's impenetrable. You get Frankenstein from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's got Black Canary infused in his chest, and just like sits there and blows the Flash away. And you're just like, holy shit, dude. So it's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. Again, you get to see the entire world being taken over by this Brother's Eye. You get to see John Stewart in here with Blue Beetle trying to create this distraction. So Amethyst and this was a pretty cool page here. This is a nice artwork here. How Clark tries to fight John Stewart, and John Stewart becomes part of the virus too. But you get to see Grifter and Amethyst try to lead the distraction, but that was an epic failure. So the last people that can really go back in time to try to stop this from preventing it was Bruce Wayne and Batman Beyond. What happens in the issue is Bruce is the one that's supposed to go back in time to try to prevent all this from happening, but McGinnis is the one eventually that winds up having to go back, because they have to let down the shields for a minute to get through the time dimension. So you get to see that happen in the issue, and as that happens, the virus is coming, the Brother's Eye is coming, and they're trying to destroy everybody. There's this epic battle. Freaking severs freaking Bruce's arm off. It goes flying. He's bleeding out. And Terry McGinnis is the one that's got to go back to the future or back to the past, try to stop everything that happens. And when Terry does, he winds up going back to the wrong point in time. It's 5 years from the point that they need to be. So everything that's already, all the plans are already in motion. So now Terry has to figure out how to stop it 5 years from where he's supposed to be. So it's a completely time frame from where he is. So yeah, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. The only thing that really kind of bugged me about it was, like, reminds me of Age of Ultron, because you got to go back in time. It's almost something that we've seen it before, but in its own way, it got me intrigued. I need to see how, Terry McGinnis handles the whole situation. And I think also with him being in it made me want to go buy issue 1 now too, because I love Batman Beyond. I love Terry McGinnis. And there hasn't been a really good enough series out there. There's this one series that's out there, but it's with Superman. And I miss the Batman Beyond cartoon. And this kind of makes me say, this is kind of like Batman Beyond because it's got Terry McGinnis in there. And, I liked that element. I mean, even though it's been done before in a way with, Age of Ultron and everyone getting infected by the Ultron thing and all that stuff, this is kind of, I guess, their version of it. So I liked it. It presented a full issue here. Issue 1 will be on sale this coming week, and I enjoyed it. And I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. And that's why this got #1 book, because they just wanted to say, here's your issue 0. This is what this story is about. Come out, buy it if you like it. And that's all they did. So, guys, there you have it. There's your free comic book edition countdown. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what Free Comic Book Day comics you like this week. And again, tell me what you got on Free Comic Book Day. So, guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.